Another powerful man, another example of possibly ruining your own way by sex trafficking. We'll touch on this gentleman, and you may not know who he is, or you might, why he's arrested and what he's charged with, and more. You're watching BS3 presents the morning shift with Cole Johnson on Roku TV via BS3, BS3TVLive.com, and the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. You are listening to us live right now on the Real Wise Radio Network, and it starts right now. Well, good morning, Shifter. Welcome to the October 22nd, Tuesday, October 22nd version of BS3 presents the morning shift with Cole Johnson. I am Cole Johnson. And for the next 60 minutes, sit back and relax, kick back and enjoy yourselves as we get and keep you informed, enlightened, engaged, entertained, and spiritually fed. Now, of course, along with Michael Jeffries and the dealings of him as the former Abercrombie Fitch CEO. We're going to touch on also in the program Spotlight, the abrupt departure of one, what we know her as Samantha Irvin. Her name is Samantha Johnson. So we'll touch on her departure from WWE and why she actually left. And in lighting the way, we're going to touch on bad company ruining good morals. That is what's on tap for later on today. But for now, let's get you started up, shall we? Yeah, let's start you up. And here's what's happening in the world today. A 79-year-old woman was struck and killed by a United States Postal Service delivery vehicle in New York Sunday morning. The woman was struck by a USPS delivery vehicle at an intersection in East Aurora in New York, roughly around 10 a.m. on Sunday, according to the East Aurora Police Department release. Now, the East Aurora Fire Department and AMR ambulance service, they both responded to the scene. She was airlifted to Mercy flight to the Erie County Medical Center, where she unfortunately later died from serious injuries. The Postal Service driver was not injured and was fully cooperative at the scene. For the 10th consecutive year, a popular pest control company has crowned Chicago the, quote, rattiest city, close quote. Orkin, an American pest control company founded in 1901. I think we all know Orkin very well. They announced the honor on Monday. John Kane, the National Accounts entomologist and quality manager, said in a news release about the rattiest city, quote, "The streets of Chicago are a playground for rats. They chew constantly to explore new resources, contaminate food, and damage property. If we don't act, they'll keep growing in numbers, causing bigger problems." Close quote. Now, Chicago beat out Los Angeles, who, of course, they came in second, and New York, who came in third, according to Orkin. And all three cities have faced consistent rodent problems and have ranked in the top three for the last 7 years. That's according to Orkin. Amber Tamblyn, she's opening up about her decision to undergo plastic surgery at a young age. The actress, who's 41 now, revealed in an essay for the New York Times published Sunday that she received ear pinning surgery at age 12 after landing her first role on television. Now, Tamblyn also wrote that she had, quote, ears that stuck out like big butterfly wings, close quote, growing up, which caused kids to make fun of her during school. And she would, quote, often stare at myself in the mirror, wishing my ears would lay flat against my head, close quote. But she said that wasn't until she was prepping to be on television that she opted to undergo said surgery. Wow. We have a warped society. Election law experts said billionaire Elon Musk must offer to award $1 million per day until Election Day, or November 5th, to people in swing states who sign his petition supporting the Constitution, could be investigated by law enforcement. Now, Musk announced the prizes distributed through his Political Action Committee, America PAC, on Saturday at a rally during support of former President Donald Trump. The first winner, a man, he was selected at Harrisburg in Pennsylvania. Musk said about that, quote, by the way, the man had no idea. So anyway, you're welcome. Close quote. He said that as the man was handed an oversized $1 million check. Speaking of Donald Trump and actually going to his past, members of the Central Park Five, now or more recently known as the Exonerated Five, they are suing former President Donald Trump regarding, quote, false, misleading, and defamatory, close quote, comments he made during the presidential debate on ABC News last month, the men's attorney announced. Attorneys for Yusuf Salaam, Raymond Santana, Kevin Richardson, Antron Brown, and Corey Wise filed the federal lawsuit in the Eastern District Court of Pennsylvania on Monday. The complaint, obtained by USA Today, claims that during the debate, Trump falsely said that the Central Park Five members killed someone and pled guilty to the crime back in 1989. The former president's comments came after Vice President Kamala Harris said he, quote, took out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of 5 young Black and Latino boys who were innocent, the Central Park Five, close quote, according to a news release from the men's attorneys, Shannon Spector and Alexander Van Dyke. In response to Harris, Trump allegedly said the men, quote, admitted they said they pled guilty. And I said, well, if they pled guilty, they badly hurt a person, killed a person ultimately, close quote. Democratic vice presidential nominee Tim Walz faced further questions during his debut appearance on ABC's The View about his record of past misstatements, calling the comments passionate slip-ups and trying to shift accusations to former President Donald Trump. Co-host Alyssa Farah, a former Trump White House assistant and director of strategic communications, asked Walz about his trustworthiness in lieu of a list of inconsistencies and exaggerations that have emerged during his short time on the campaign trail. Well, the Minnesota governor has come under scrutiny for a number of verbal gaffes and inaccuracies since Vice President Kamala Harris selected Walz as a running mate 2 months ago. Now, that includes saying that he's friends with school shooters during his first and only debate, exaggerating the number of times he's visited China, and claiming he was present for the Tiananmen Square protests when he wasn't, along with other areas. For those who want clearance, the Tiananmen Square face-off and stand-down and stand-off, that was May 5th of 1989. It is on public record that Walz visited, I want to say Hong Kong, actually, in August of 1989. Jennifer Lawrence is going to be a mother of 2. The Hunger Games Oscar-winning actress is expecting her second child with husband Cook Maroney. The representative for Lawrence confirmed this to Vogue. When reached for comment by USA Today on Sunday, the actress representative referred back to the Vogue article for confirmation. Lawrence has been married to Maroney. He's an art dealer. Since 2019, they welcomed their first child, a boy named Cy, 2 years ago. Lawrence confirmed the news of her son's birth in an interview on the Ellen DeGeneres Show in 2022. The following sports update is brought to you by the Playmakers Blog Network. All right, let's go to the diamond, shall we? Resale tickets for the World Series opener at Dodger Stadium They start at $1,358 on Monday evening. And this is according to StubHub. Vivid Seats, another resale outlet, has its average price tickets sold a little bit higher than that, $1,368, about double of last year's World Series, which was $685. And of course, that was between the Rangers and the Diamondbacks. The demand is much higher because it's the Yankees and the Dodgers. From the diamond to the court, let's go to the women's side of the court, shall we? The WNBA players, I should say, have opted out of their current collective bargaining agreement and face the prospect of a worker stoppage by the end of the 2025 season if a new deal is not struck. The WNBPA announced on Monday that players are seeking, quote, a business model that reflects their true value, encompassing higher salaries, enhanced professional working conditions, expanded health benefits, and crucial investments needed for long-term growth, close quote. The two sides have a year to come to an agreement. All right, from the courts to the gridiron, NFL action. And it's unfortunate for the 49ers. The hits literally keep on coming. Brandon Ayuk, wide receiver, who actually got his bag recently. He has torn his ACL and MCL in his right knee, and he will unfortunately miss the rest of the 2024 season. His wide receiver counterpart, Deebo Samuel, he's in the hospital currently for pneumonia. Samuel had fluid buildup in his lungs and currently remains in the hospital as we speak. Now, Monday Night Football action. We saw the Ravens go to Tampa and spot them a 10-point lead or a 10-point deficit, and they came back and stormed back, scored 34 points before the Bucs scored again. The final score was 41-31 in favor of the Bucs. When Lamar Jackson, 17 of 22, 281 yards, and he had 5 touchdowns. Derrick Henry, he had 15 carries, 169 yards, and a receiving touchdown. But the news was not good for that game in general, especially on the Bucs end, not just the L they took. Mike Evans, the wide receiver who actually caught his 100th touchdown pass, he suffered a hamstring injury midway through the second quarter and did not return. Chris Godwin suffered a serious leg injury in the closing moments of the fourth quarter, fellow wide receiver, and the lower leg was placed in an air cast. Oh, and there was a second Monday Night Football game. The Cardinals, with a last-second field goal, they beat the Chargers 17-15. Kyler Murray was 14-26, 145 yards, a touchdown, and an interception and a rushing touchdown. Oh, sorry, excuse me. To the NBA. And opening night, we'll touch on that with the next episode. The Knicks, they traveled to the Boston Garden to play the Celtics, and the Timberwolves go to LA to face off against the Lakers. Both games on TNT. We're on TNT. And the final season of TNT on NBA on TNT begins this week. So tragic. Wow. Man, I feel so depressed now that I'm thinking about it. Oh, Lord, TNT, why'd you have to drop the bag? All right, turning our attention to weather across the country, as brought to you by the Weather Channel. It will be cloudy and 53 in Seattle. It will be partly cloudy and 56 in Minneapolis, partly cloudy and 63 in Chicago, mostly sunny and 75 in St. Louis. It will be cloudy and 68 in Detroit. Over in the East Coast, it will be partly cloudy and 76 in Boston, partly cloudy and 78 in New York, sunny and 80 in Washington. Down south, it will be partly cloudy and 84 in Miami, sunny and 80 in Atlanta, sunny and 86 in Memphis, foggy and 84 in New Orleans. Down the southwest, it will be partly cloudy and 89 in San Antonio, sunny and 91 in Dallas, partly cloudy and 88 in Houston. And the Rockies will be sunny and 77 in Denver. Down south, or down in the southwest in the desert, it will be the warmest spot in the country, 98 and sunny in Phoenix, 88 and sunny in Las Vegas, and out on the West Coast, it will be sunny and 87 in Los Angeles, It will be partly cloudy and 70 in the Bay Area. Well, that is your look on weather for today. And now you have been properly started up. Last year of NBA on TNT. Man. Coming up later, another powerful man, another hoe, another sex trafficker. That is our cover story. And in lighting the way, bad company ruining a good moral person. How does the Lord look at that? But coming up next, Samantha Irvin, the WWE announcer, now is the former WWE announcer. We'll touch on why and how. You're watching BS3 Presents the Morning Shift with Cole Johnson on Roku TV via BS3, BS3TVLive.com, and the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. You are listening to it live on the Real Wise Radio Network, and we'll return right after this.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Join Ryan McCarthy.
I became a Jets fan because Kurt the Frog was my favorite Muppet because he was green, and the Jets wore green. That's how I became a Jets fan.
And Dustin Henry.
ESPN is cashing all in on let's pay a few personalities and we'll just kind of fill in the gaps.
As they walk you through all of the world of sports from their perspective.
The Albany Empire, it's a literal circus.
No credentials required. Where, Ryan, say the Big Ten.
How would people on the campus of Ohio State University, how would they look at Ryan Day?
The SEC.
Until somebody can show me that they can beat Georgia outside of Alabama, I got to roll with the Bulldogs.
The Big 12.
Mike Gundy, show me something. I picked you last year, okay?
The ACC.
I need Dabo Sweeney and the Clemson Tiger to show me that they are understanding what the mission is at hand.
And the Pac-12. Whoa. I'm sorry, the Pac-2. Join the Playmaker as he breaks down every single week all the hot college football games, bearing down the gridiron on the Playmaker's Blog Network YouTube channel and where you can find podcasts. Welcome back to BS3 Presents the Morning Shift for Cole Johnson. I am Cole Johnson, and if you feel the need to not just watch, but participate, well, I have the place for you. Go to the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. That's the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel, where BS3 presents the Morning Shift with Cole Johnson comes to you live every weekday. And you can comment to your heart's content and desire, and within reason, it will be read on air because the lifeblood of the show is you. Now, it's a little bit of a disheartening type of news. Samantha Irvin. Now, we somewhat knew of her coming upon the scene in, I think she was America's Got Talent. And she has a great voice. Is also a flautist, and she displayed that on the TV show. And then later on, she decided to come to WWE since she actually is a wrestling fan. And they found out that this woman had not just singing pipes, but speaking pipes. Well, unfortunately, she announced her abrupt departure. And In today's program Spotlight, we'll touch on that departure and what it means for WWE now. WWE ring announcer Samantha Irvin, aka Samantha Johnson, has ended her time with the company. The highly praised presenter announced her departure on social media Monday, hours prior to Monday Night Raw, which she was the ringside voice of. Now, she wrote on Instagram and on X, quote, "I love you all tremendously, and this does not mark the end of my art. I have a lifetime more to share. Thank you to every WWE fan who accepted me." Close quote. Irvin thanked the people involved in the company, including the women's locker room, backstage crew, superstars, executives, and she also passed along a not congratulatory, but a thank you to Mark Henry, who was the one who recommended her to actually be a part of WWE in the first place. Legally known as Samantha Johnson, Irvin became the ring announcer for WWE 205 Live back in 2021 after she tried out as a wrestler. Then she moved on to NXT before she became the Friday Night SmackDown ring announcer in January 2022. In February of last year, she moved to Raw, where she stayed for the remainder of her time with WWE. And she became a hit with fans instantly, known for her passionate, hyped introductions, like for the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns in the Bloodline, as well as the way she introduced Chelsea Green. "No, I ain't doing it." That went viral and became synonymous with her interests. Chelsea, no, never mind. Chelsea Green, who wrote on social media about the departure of Samantha, quote, "I am so lucky to have shared the ring with you and even more lucky to have been a part of your iconic ring announcements," close quote. Now, Samantha was on call for the WWE's premium live events, and she earned and gained a lot of praise during WrestleMania 40 back in April when she announced all 14 matches in the 2-day event. And of course, the end of the last one with her emotional call when she announced Cody Rhodes winning the undisputed WWE Championship. Legendary ring announcer Michael Buffer lauded her performance. She's also a singer, as I mentioned earlier. Irvin also appeared on America's Got Talent, and she also appeared on I Can See Your Voice prior to her time in WWE. Now, she is engaged to wrestler Ricochet, who recently left WWE in the summer, and now he is in AEW. Now, Irvin didn't say whether her next career move will be there, and she didn't actually say where her next career move will be, but she hinted that she's working on her next step, saying, quote, "To my fans, my entire career, I've been waiting for you. We are meant to be, and I can prove it. Stay tuned." Close quote. Now, WWE, they pretty much went into let's grab from the past mode, and they grabbed popular ring announcer from the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression era, Lillian Garcia. And it was slated to just simply be for the night on Monday, but they announced after Raw's episode airing that she signed a full-time multi-year contract with WWE. So your new ring announcer for Monday Night Raw is an oldie but goodie in Lillian Garcia. Well, kudos to Samantha. I hope everything works for her. She's a talented individual. I will definitely miss her. I actually think that her lane is in the announcing sphere, but I get, she has a voice, she has a passion, and I get that. No one should stand in the way of it. And I think part of the reason why she is leaving is she actually has the opportunity to record, because that's starting to take off. Of course, she did a rendition of Razor Ramon's "Bad Boy" and Wally Mania back in April, where she played the flute and sang the chorus along to the song. So that budding music career, I guess, is happening, and it'll be pretty hard for her to do that and to be on the road, being for Raw and for every major PLE that the company has. So I guess that she has to take that break and take that step away. I understand. And hopefully it'll be fruitful. I actually hope she comes back too, because I think WWE is probably where she is meant to be. But we shall see. She says her fans, I guess we have to wait and see what is going to come of it. And that concludes today's program Spotlight. But again, we wish you nothing but the best, Samantha. Speaking of wishing you nothing but the best, that is how I always feel when I see these four wonderful individuals pop up on my screen. Join Nicole, Mika, Alicia, and King Doc as they take on everything. I mean, from anything from sports to social media to sometimes politics to spirituality to having that ear on the street air about them. Have them tackle all these topics in only the way they know how. Queen 3 and King podcast, it comes to you live every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central on Roku TV via BS3, the BS3 Network TV, BS3 Network YouTube channel, BS3 Network Facebook page, and the Queen 3 King podcast 59 YouTube channel. That is the seasoned queen, the educated queen, the baby queen, and the king himself. Queen 3 and King, live every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, to Roku TV. Just hit the BS3 logo on the Roku TV app. BS3TVLive.com, the BS3 Network YouTube channel, the BS3 Network Facebook page, and the Queen 3 King Podcast 59 YouTube channel. Coming up next, oh boy, why? Why do we have to deal with another powerful man who has a sex trafficking problem? We'll touch on the former Abercrombie Fitch CEO doing things he should not. Good boy. You're watching BS3 Presents the Morning Shift for Cole Johnson on Roku TV via BS3, BS3TVLive.com, the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. You're listening to it live right now on the Real Ice Radio Network, and we'll return right after this. Chelsea Green. Oh, sorry, I don't miss that. The moderator.
As woman, you can't be too friendly because the minute you're friendly, then they think you're flirting.
The level head.
I think so that thing is over. So I'm not looking at men like that anymore.
The truth slayer.
Okay, what in the HPV yeast infection is going on over here?
The X Factor.
So I'd rather you tell me everything up front and let's start fresh.
The intersection of life and spirituality never sounded this good. BS3 Network proudly presents Life Happens live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Alicia.
You can't hold somebody to that standard if you haven't voiced what you want and what you're needing from that.
Mika.
If you're not communicating expectations, you're waiting for your feelings to be hurt.
Nicole.
Yeah. A lot of people don't want to take the time out to be alone and to get themselves together.
Ivan.
You got to be willing to work through stuff. And from the jump street, y'all done had problems. Maybe you don't need to be working through those.
BS3 Network proudly presents Queen 3 and King podcast live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central. This is a BS3 Network presentation.
So sit back, tune in, tell a friend. This Dope Cooking Show, we about to get started, and it's about to go down. Check me out.
Join your culinary master of ceremonies, Chef Jeff, as he introduces to you This Dope Cooking Show. Live every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central. Now, if you want a show and an interview process where you get a chance to have a from the actor studio type of vibe, well, I have a place for you. Join my man Wise Alefe and a wonderful interviewee of his choosing, as you could pick a nugget out of whatever that conversation encasing in an interview provides. Stuck in My Mind podcast. It comes to you live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central on Roku TV via BS3 and the Stuck in My Mind podcast YouTube channel. That is Stuck in My Mind podcast, live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central on Roku TV, just the BS3 logo on the Roku TV app, bs3tvlive.com, and the Stuck in My Mind podcast YouTube channel. Well, welcome back to BS3 presents the morning shift for Cole Johnson. I am Cole Johnson. It is so great to meet your acquaintance. I love you, Shifter. Know that. And let's get right back and right down to business. Now, it's been the year of seeing the powerful and mighty fall, and yet we now have another example in today's cover story. We will touch on why Michael Jeffries, the former Abercrombie Fitch CEO, is behind bars and charged with sex trafficking. Yeah, boy. You got to be more careful. Well, Michael Jeffries, the former CEO of Abercrombie Fitch, was arrested and is charged, along with two others, in the operation of a secretive international sex trafficking scheme, which lasted for years, cost millions of dollars, and involved dozens of victims. And this is what the prosecutor said earlier this week. Jeffries, who served as CEO of the clothing company from 1992 to 2014, and Matthew Smith of West Palm Beach, and James Jacobson of Wisconsin, all three of them were charged with sex trafficking and engaging in interstate prostitution. And this is coming from Breon Peace, the U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of New York, and he said that in a news conference. The operation involved transporting young, aspiring male models to events in New York City and other places around the world and coercing them into having sex. The men believed participating in the events would lead to modeling opportunities and further their careers. Peace in that news conference said, quote, "To anyone who thinks they can exploit and coerce others by using this so-called casting couch system, this case should serve as a warning. Prepare to trade that couch for a bed in federal prison." Close quote. Brian Bieber, Jeffries' attorney, said in a statement to USA Today that they will respond to the allegations, quote, "after the indictment is unsealed and when appropriate, but plan to do so in the courthouse, not in the media." Close quote. Legal representation for Jeffries has previously, quote, "vehemently denied," close quote, "any wrongdoing," according to the BBC. Abercrombie said last year it was, quote, "appalled and disgusted," close quote, and hired a law firm to investigate allegations in a BBC report that Jeffries recruited young men for sex. The company declined to comment on Jeffries' arrest and did not immediately respond to questions about the status of the independent investigation into the allegations against him. Now, P said that the indictment alleges in graphic and disturbing detail that while Jeffries was the CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch, he used, quote, "his power, his wealth, and his influence to traffic men for his own sexual pleasure and that of his romantic partner, Smith," close quote. Jeffries and Smith employed Jacobson, a quote, recruiter for them, close quote, to find men and pay them to engage in sex acts. Peace also said that Smith would personally select men to be flown into the couple's home in the Hamptons or to hotels around the world, quote, to engage in commercial sex, close quote. The defendants allegedly employed a, quote, secret staff, close quote, to operate events where victims would be supplied with drugs and alcohol and coerced into sexual activity. The staff allegedly helped keep this event secret by ensuring the men handed over their phones and signed non-disclosure agreements. Peace said that while they led the men to believe not complying with the demands would hurt their careers, well, when they did not or could not consent, Jeffries and Smith would forcefully subject them to violent sexual contact. Peace said the illegal operation lasted at least 7 years, from 2008 to 2015, and required millions of dollars to support its massive infrastructure and maintain secrecy. There are only 15 men are identified in the indictment against them as John Does. Peace said prosecutors believe, quote, dozens and dozens, close quote, of victims were involved. He thanked the victims for coming forward and encouraged any others to contact the FBI. Peace went on with to say, quote, prosecutions like this are really impossible without the bravery of victims who are willing to report what happened to them in law enforcement, close quote. The news comes after a group of once aspiring Abercrombie & Fitch male models filed a class action lawsuit against the company last year against Jeffries and the company, alleging the retailer looked the other way while Jeffries ran a sex trafficking ring and sexually assaulted numerous young men. Brad Edwards, an attorney who represents the men in the case, said, quote, all four of the defendants, including Abercrombie & Fitch, have tried everything possible to delay our lawsuit from proceeding, presumably because they knew it would lead to criminal arrests. The proposed class action filed by former model David Bradbury in Manhattan federal court claims Jeffries forced models to take drugs and engage in sexual acts with him, and others for the chance to be featured in Abercrombie's provocative catalogs. The lawsuit alleged that company officers knew about the conduct, and Abercrombie paid settlements to people who accused Jeffries of sexual abuse or harassment. The lawsuit says, quote, in exchange for providing the position of power and unfettered access to corporate funds necessary for Jeffries to sexually terrorize aspiring male models, Abercrombie knowingly and intentionally benefited and received things of value from Jeffries and his sex trafficking operation, including the value Jeffries himself brought to the brand, close quote. Brittany Henderson, another attorney representing some of the aspiring models, called the arrests that happened Tuesday morning, quote, monumental, close quote, in a statement released to USA Today. She went on to say, quote, their fight for justice does not end here. In addition to supporting the criminal prosecution, our clients look forward to holding Abercrombie & Fitch liable for facilitating this terrible conduct and ensuring that this cannot happen again. Close quote. Now, just to give you an understanding as to who this man is. He became president and CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch in 1992, when the small money-losing chain formerly known for selling sporting equipment and clothes was part of Leslie H. Wexner's retail empire called The Limited at the time. Jeffries became chairman in 1996, and The Limited spun off the chain into an independent company in 1998. Jeffries was credited with turning around the retailer into a successful teen apparel maker known for its cologne-filled stores and ads featuring semi-nude models. Jeffries became one of the highest-paid CEOs in the U.S., earning a pay package estimated at more than $140 million at one point. But the company stirred up controversy under his leadership. Abercrombie produced a hybrid magazine catalog with partially nude models that featured articles such as Drinking 101, made t-shirts with phrases and that insulted various groups, and went years without selling larger size clothes as a way to cultivate an image. An age discrimination lawsuit in 2012 revealed the existence of an aircraft standards manual dictating how the models and actors serving Jeffries on the company jet were to dress and behave. The men's were to be clean-shaven and wear boxer briefs, flip-flops, and the spritz of the chain's signature cologne. Now, he abruptly retired in 2014 at the age of 70 after seemingly losing his touch with the retailer's teen audience amid several years of weakening sales. And late last year, Jeffries sued his former employer because it refused to cover his costs from the lawsuit. A judge earlier this year ruled that the allegations were tied to Jeffries' corporate role and the retailer must cover the cost of his legal defense, reported by the BBC. And that concludes today's cover story. Oh, this world gets sicker by the day, I tell you. Well, here's something that you won't get sick of. My man, Chef Jeff, one of the good guys, one of the most quality human beings that you'll ever know and will ever see. He will take his wonderful culinary arts, all of what he knows, and he will show you step by step how to prepare certain dishes, sometimes interview other people from the culinary arts, and maybe even give you a Q&A session every now and then. Get to know this man because he is going places. Chef Jeff stars in This Dough Cooking Show, and it comes to you live every Tuesday, 6 p.m. 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central on Roku TV via BS3, the This Dough Cooking Show YouTube channel, and the BS3 Network YouTube channel. That is This Dough Cooking Show live this and every Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central on the Roku TV. Just hit the BS3 logo on the Roku TV app. BS3TVLive.com, the This Dough Cooking Show YouTube channel, and the BS3 Network YouTube channel. Coming up next, Bad Company, Good Morals. Why the two do not ever mix. You're watching BS3 presents The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson on Roku TV via BS3, BS3TVLive.com, and the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. You're listening to it live on the on the Real Wise Radio Network. And I'll recover, and you'll return from these commercial breaks right now after this. This is a BS3 Network presentation. Adrian Shawan.
There was a man talking about where the homebodies at, where the women at, and the women was stitching it and was like, we at home.
Scotty Knox.
Another pet peeve of mine, right? First date, if you show up with the ponytail that come out at the top of your head, it will not be a second date.
Butler.
I want people to think independently and freely. She's not. $100 for lunch. I almost got up and walked off.
A show that asks only one question. Is it Wednesday yet? Live every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 p.m. Central.
See everybody talking like they doing what we doing, but these brothers is rare and they ain't moving like we moving, and everywhere we go.
Oh, yes. The tradition, the pageantry, the spectacle, the history, the slut. Wait. I gotta rep my brother's stuff right. All my DMV soldiers, stand up! And welcome to the Commander's Gridiron Report. You want your commanders to be repped right? Well, D. Willie is your man. Commander's Gridiron Report. Every Tuesday at 11:05 a.m. Eastern, 10:05 a.m. Central on the Sertoba Media YouTube channel. Music by J. Cool.
Where my soldiers? Right side. Commanders. Where my soldiers? Left side.
Are you looking for something to do on your lunch break? Well, there's a show on the BS3 Network that has only 4 words to say to you.
We ready. We ready. We ready. Gloria. We ready. We ready. We ready.
The Lunch Break, powered by JM&E. Live weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central. Coming down the home stretch of this episode of BS3 presents the morning shift of Cole Johnson. I am Cole Johnson. To Shift Nation we head, and we have a special prayer along with it. Snowman, he says, good morning, Shift Nation. Please send prayers to the big dog, Shane Lake, the super producer, and to my beautiful wife, Dr. K, as both are ill this morning. Well, prayers of healing or to the both of you, and know that this particular brand here, we believe that by his stripes you already are healed. So claim that healing and just walk that healing on out. And my brother from Total Football Talk, Dante, Eagles fan extraordinaire, he says, "What's up, my guy? What's up do you do, man? I hope everything's good in your world. Glad to see you, man. Glad to see you. And yeah, he joins us, Drew and me, every Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, Total Football Talk. We break down everything NFL, and well, in the fall, NFL. In the spring, it'll be UFL. In the summer, it'll probably be CFL. So we break down all things football every Monday morning. So, and he's one of the biggest reasons as to why we do what we do over at TFT. It's great to see you come on this platform for me. And I hope you enjoy what you're about to see because it's for you and for others as well. Now, we just got finished talking about Abercrombie Fitch's former CEO, Michael Jeffries. And, I've been thinking about him. I've been thinking about R. Kelly and Sean Combs and Harvey Weinstein. And it's just these, and even Russell Simmons, just these powerful individuals who seem to think that they're above the law. And it's appalling how you see these individuals take advantage of innocent individuals and innocent people. And the Lord just directed me. It's like, how should I touch on bad company individuals ruining people who have good morals? And how should they, if they are ruined by these bad company individuals, learn how to, I guess, shed the skin of the negativity and actually go forth, or if they have not been, actually just eschew it all and avoid said behavior. Well, and men and women sometimes. Well, here is lighting the way. Father God, in the name of Jesus, thank you so much. Your word says that when two or three are gathered together in the midst, that you will be with us. So thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for being in the midst. And thank you for being in the mix. And you all said, and you said in your word, Lord, that this is the day that you made. So let us rejoice and be glad in it. So we rejoice in that we have another day to make this right. And I know that we have some shady individuals who think that because they have the wealth and the power to do whatever they want, that they can just simply destroy people's lives without any recompense. Right now, I just want to send this particular meditation and prayer to those who have suffered from the sting and the iron grip of that powerful individual who, because they were considered a have-not by them, they were used as a step stool by them. give them the strength and the courage to understand that they are not a half not, that they are a half because they have you in their lives, that they not only can withstand and resist, they can survive and they can actually thrive, and not because of it. They can thrive because they can learn about individuals like that and avoid them altogether, or if they have not been able to avoid them, that they can find the strength to rise above them. And only the way that you promote people. And so, Lord, let this message be devoid of my emotions, my ego, and my thought process. May I be an may not be an interpreter of your word, may I be a lighthouse of it. And may the words of my mouth and meditation in your heart, my heart be always acceptable in your sight, Lord. You are my rock, Lord. You are my strength, and you are my redeemer. In Jesus' name, amen. It's disturbing. I mean, it's literally outright disturbing when I just think of all of these individuals who they flat out deny these ridiculous and wicked things that they have done to people who want to simply have a dream come true. I'm thinking, and chiefly I'm thinking of Sean Combs and Michael Jeffries. They would take advantage of these wonderful individuals because they had this dream of making it huge, whether it was on the stage with singing or rapping in front of people, or being a model on a runway in Paris. They had these big dreams. But this wolf in sheep's clothing decided to simply descend upon their lives, give them false hope, and instead of having their dreams come true, they feed them nightmares that some of them probably haven't shaken, and some of them didn't shake the rest of their lives. So that troubled my spirit. I mean, it literally troubled my spirit. So I said, Jesus, help me out here. I would love to give an encouraging message to those who have a dream and they have it spoiled by a powerful individual. What should I say to them? Because I don't know what to say to them. And he guided me to the first letter Paul wrote to the people of Corinth. Let's go, all right. And so in the 15th chapter and the 33rd verse, my eyes were directed to this, where Paul wrote to Corinth, "Do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals." Again, this is from 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33. Do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals. So then it went to the first question that I had to ask immediately when my eyes were guided in that direction. How can you check the company of a person? Because we can get caught up in the dreams that we want, and we want to have that person who is willing to give us that yes, because we're told, you're going to hear many no's, especially in the modeling world and in the entertainment industry. You're going to hear many no's. You're going to hear no's all over the place. So you got to develop thick skin, and you got to develop that thick skin until you get that yes. And all it takes is one of them. And so you get that one yes, and you see this individual who's going to give you this push up and pull you up to this world that you dreamt of. And the fame and the money and the notoriety will come to you, and they promise you all this. But then they say, well, you get that, but you got to do this instead, or you got to do this in exchange, and it will be good. So how can you check the company of a person? Well, it's funny. I heard this in a speech. Says you can tell the tree by the fruit it bears. And sometimes you have to dig, and you have to look and look into the person. And sometimes you can also tell the fruit and the health of it by the company that person keeps. If the company is good, the fruit is solid. But if the company is horrible, no matter how good the fruit is, all of it has rot on it. And so you got to check to see if that person has company that rots everything it touches. And that's easy to diagnose. You have those who think the world revolves around them, or they snap at them. That person you shouldn't even deal with, even if it is that boss that promises you that you're going to have everything at your disposal. Because, I mean, the word says, pride becomes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. So you see that a fall is coming, and you might be affiliated with that fall. So is there any way you could be deceived with said company? Yeah, you can. You most certainly can. You might be treated wonderfully, but you probably hear stories from many other people that say, well, this person is horrible. This person treated me bad. This person treated me like garbage. And you can be deceived. You most certainly can be deceived, because and normally this has been said with regards to women and men. People say that when a good girl goes bad, she's gone forever. And when she gets in contact with that one guy that just simply treats her like she's nothing, it's not that the woman thinks she's nothing from that point forth. It's the trust that she would normally have, and the wide-eyed innocence that she may have experienced with life. She doesn't go throughout life like that anymore. That she's guarded, that she feels as though she needs to be on guard, and because of that, a good guy may not stand a chance with her going forward. And that is how a person can be deceived with that bad company type of person. So how important are morals in the decision process? Very. It's very important. You got to have people around you that have your best interests at heart. And if you see that they don't, you got to make sure and protect yourself so that you can get around people who do. Because just like the fruit analogy that I said, if you're around rotted fruit, you could be as pure as white driven snow. That your fruit will be rotted. Or you can use the snow analogy. You could be that white driven snow. What happens when you have exhaustives on it? Not so white, right? It's tainted, right? Well, that's what happens to you or me or anybody who, when you have these good morals and you rub against somebody whose morals are not so good, it taints you in the long run, and you get part and parcel involved in that nastiness. It's like what my father used to tell me when I was young. He says, look, if you're going to hang around thugs, that's all on you. But understand, if you're around those thugs and you don't even do the robbing, they'll arrest you too. Accomplice. So you got to choose who you want to be around. And that still sticks to me to this day. So can you rehabilitate those who were bad company or are bad company? Yes, you can. But that work isn't for you. That work is for Jesus. That work is for God. Now, you can be the conduit that leads them to Jesus, where they can do the work. But the thing is, that person has to recognize themselves. They are bad company, and they ruin people, and they have to be willing to change. So you can show them all you can the good life and the good ways. It won't matter. But what does matter is you. your health, your mental acuity, your heart. That is what matters more than anything. More than anything. No matter. And I just hope that in these days and times that you find your footing, you find your way, and that if you have stumbled and fallen, if you have dealt with corrupt company, if you have been part of somebody who promised you these champagne wishes and caviar dreams, but basically gave you nothing but dirt and treated you as such, know that you are a wealthy individual and you belong in a place where the Savior says in his house there are many mansions. And you submit your life to him, you will be part of that mansion because you're greater than what they believe you are. And you will always be greater. Know that. Well, let's end on an even more positive note. The shifters are coming in. My brother Wiser Levy says, good morning, shifters. Good morning, my brother. I hope everything's good with you. Well, I know everything's good with you. You're all aglow with all Navy. Yankees being the World Series. I know you're happy. I'm happy for you, my brother. And congratulations to Yankees. Wonderful year, actually, for them. Ryan McCarthy, no credentials acquired fame. He says, good morning, fellow shifters. Hope everything's good with you, sir. And Snowman says, good morning to all of you. Well, that is all the time I have. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this wonderful rendition. Stay tuned. We'll have another episode later on this morning where we'll touch on Donald Trump and the Joe Rogan experience. For all of us at Coleman Media Incorporated, for the BS3 Network, and for the Morning Shift, I'm Cole Johnson here to say in parting, as I always do. If you lack commitment, you will never start. If you lack consistency, you'll never finish. And if you lack love, I guarantee you, my shifter, you most certainly will never conquer. Now, go out to the world, preach the gospel to the ends of the earth, because you are a blessing. And how do I know that? Because, shifter, you right now, you have been a blessing to me. And hopefully I, in turn, have been a blessing to you. I love you. There isn't anything you can do about it except accept it, embrace it, and pass that love on to others. Because love is the most revolutionary force on the planet. Have a wonderful rest of your morning, rest of your day. I'll see you later on this morning, because the morning has just started. So long. God bless you too, Sick.